So hi, I'm Rick, and I've got a story for you guys. I'll preface it with a story before this story, though, and I'll say that I am a man that has lived not one, but not two, but three lives. And for the first part of my active teenage years, I was into drugs, and I suffered drug addiction for a solid 17 years. And at the end of my 17-year stint, I finally surrendered in 2008, and I've been clean since 2008, almost 13 years. It was a feat for me, but you guys that are not addicts, you just do it every day, and it's like, well, whatever. But so in 2008, I began my second life. And I did that by the way of a 12-step fellowship. And when I joined this 12-step fellowship, they gave me a list of stuff I needed to do. And it was to get to know all these people and do all these things and be a part of service to this thing that was saving my life every day. So I did that, and it was so fun. And my schedule was constantly filled with stuff to do. There wasn't a moment's time where I wasn't attending a meeting, where I wasn't going to help somebody, to be of some kind of service to this fellowship, and I enjoyed the heck out of it, and that's what largely kept me clean for all that time. And then, doing all this stuff, being quite busy, never having really a moment to rest and be just with me, you know? It was as if God said, Rick, thou shalt lay down for 40 days. God didn't sound like that. God sounds like whatever, but let's pretend. So that's what happened. And it started and it was in 2012 this happened. And around August, I started to get a little bit sick. And I had a yearly sinus infection. I went to the doctor, I got antibiotics, it was fine. But this time, there was something different. And I remember I would go to the store and just try my best to wheel around the grocery store to pick up something to, keep my nourishment up and feel better. And I got home and this is kind of graphic, but excuse me. When I went to the bathroom and I peed, it was the color of Coca-Cola. And I was like, well, that's not right. So I knew there was something really wrong. And my mom came over, had to take care of me for a couple of days, and finally I was in so much pain everywhere. I don't know where the pain came from, but I was in so much pain. They said, Mom, you gotta take me to the hospital right now. So went to the hospital, and they saw me, they dismissed me and said, take 2 of these and call me in the morning kind of thing. And I went back a couple hours later and said, I'm not okay. And so what had happened was I had this flu that my body couldn't fight for whatever reason. And this thing happened called rhabdomyolysis. And you can cue that first slide for me. So if you can see that, this is me in the hospital. There's a big patch of red on my neck, which is a blood clot. And I was pretty much comatose for the first couple of weeks. Now, rhabdomyolysis is a medical term. I don't know if there's some medical terms out there like Chris did. And basically, when your body breaks down muscle, when you're working out, when you have extraneous exercise, your body produces myoglobin, and that is filtered through your kidneys. So in the course of 24 to 48 hours, my body destroyed all of my muscle. And I lost probably about 20 pounds of muscle in 2 days, all trying to come out through my renal system. So my kidneys were in failure. I was bleeding internally. And they had so many white coats in the hospital, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. What was wrong with Rick? Is Rick gonna make it? And I had so many people that came to visit me, and they didn't know if I was gonna make it either. But you know what? It's I had to come to some terms with things in life because I was in there for 40 days, and at the end of that 40 days, I couldn't walk. I couldn't do things with anything that required muscle. I couldn't do. I couldn't sign my own name. And luckily, I had my mom there to kind of take care of me for the next month, but I survived. I survived this thing by which I think textbooks probably have my case in there. And the normal amount of CPK, which is the stuff the renal stuff I was talking about, for a normal man, it's like 230 units per liter. Extreme cases, maybe a couple thousand. Mine was 300,000 CPK. And by all rights, I should be on kidney dialysis. I shouldn't even be alive, but I'm here. So I'm living my third life, you guys. And how I tied it into rest was, like Andrea's story, I had to rest. And God said, in a weird way, we're gonna give you some time, Rick. So I took the time, and I had things in place that I was taking care of for that period, and man, it was just like, from that point on, and I'll cue the second slide for me. This, if you can see it, was something that was a complication due to rhabdomyolysis called compartment syndrome. And that's when basically, when you lose tissue, your body compensates by swelling with liquid. This is my finger, and that's a blister on it. So that happened everywhere. And I was just blistered everywhere. I have scars everywhere. And so let's fast forward that 40 days, and you can do that third slide. And here's me and my mom. And when I got out of the hospital, I couldn't walk. It took me probably a good month and a half to just practice standing every day. And I used a walker to get around a lot of places. And I had to pretty much relearn everything that I had done and take it for granted for years. And so I rested. And this was me and my mom. I was part of the Taoist Tai Chi Society, and they helped me to recover physically a little bit too. And just from that point forward, I realized that I didn't have to be everywhere. I didn't have to do everything. I didn't have to see everybody. And when it was time to take time for me, that was okay. So I hope that you guys just take some time for yourself when you need it. And there's not any good time to do it, but if you feel like you need to, please do. Thanks for letting me speak.